So this energy feels like being in a really cozy, warm kitchen, and there's like fresh baked bread and cookies out, maybe some flowers on the windowsill, natural light streaming in, just like very, very homey. Um, but there's still this like sense with it of, I guess, like bittersweet wistfulness, like this. I'm almost like not sure. And like that's kind of like what I want to dig into here. Okay, yeah. Well, that already makes sense. We've got the 3 of Swords, the 2 of Swords, and the 2 of Cups. So this feels to me like someone who is a little scared to let love in. And I think like we're talking about the kind of love that feels like that like homey scene that I described, that feels like very nurturing and like safe and abundant. Um, but I think that you've been hurt. You've been hurt very badly. And I think that there's a part of you that's like looking at the situation right now, or looking at the situation that you want, and feeling a little bit indecisive there. Feeling a little bit uncertain, a little bit mistrusting. Um like you're kind of in this 2 of Swords, like caught between this past heartbreak and this new connection. Um, and when I say love, obviously I think like the 2 of Cups in particular has a strong connotation towards romantic love, but we can be talking about any kind of love. This can be self-love, family love, love of friends, whatever it is. It does feel like it's kind of centered on, I think, struggles to trust other people in some regard, whether that's family, friends, partner. And I think that this kind of whole situation, this back and forth, this pull between what you want and like what you have received in the past and like what you feel comfortable accepting, is kind of like putting you in this position with the 8 of Swords of feeling trapped, of feeling like there's nothing but kind of this like inevitable heartbreak there. We got the Hierophant, the 10 of Cups, the Page of Cups, and the Knight of Wands. Okay, I almost like feel like someone's guides coming in here. I'm getting some goosebumps, almost like, we'll take it from here. Because they really want you to know that like this is not what you're meant for. This is. This is. With this coming out under the 2 of Cups, it's like they want to present you with opportunities for connection that are going to lead you to something real, to something beautiful, to something sustainable. Um, and they're like putting these in your path now, not to like trap you, not to test you, but to allow you to, I think, like enter like a new mindset with the Page of Cups and the Knight of Wands there, a mindset that's really based on accepting love and accepting passion and pursuing that. I'm kind of getting like in this situation, like you kind of showing up as this like Page of Cups, like maybe a little bit, softer, more sensitive, kind of like internally. And I think like that may be like the part that you kind of are keeping back sometimes because you don't want to get hurt again. Like you've got like a really tender heart, like a really loving heart, a really naturally open heart. But I think that like you almost like learned how to shut that down sometimes to like protect yourself. And I'm kind of seeing, whoever else this is, whether this is partner, potential partner, friend, whoever, showing up as this Knight of Wands. And like they may be someone who's like a little bit more active, energetic, like a little bit more passion centered, a little bit more impulsive than you. Like, there's in both cases, I think like you are people who are committed to what you want. And I think like with this person, there may have been, I'm getting like, some heartbreak on both ends, but for them, it may be more of a heartbreak from like kind of just going for something and then realizing, oh shit, that didn't work out. I should like temper down, this kind of passionate and, like I said, like kind of impulsive part of themselves. And for you, it's like more of this like this like sensitivity, this big heart that you feel like you have to shut out. um 10 of Wands, 4 of Wands, 6 of Cups, 7 of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, the Wheel. So I think this is a little separate. I'll get to this in a sec. But I think with this 10 of Wands, like what they're saying is like this cycle of heartbreak, it's coming to completion because you've each learned your lesson. I think with this person, they had to learn that it's not wrong for them to passionately pursue what they want. They just need to be clear on what it is that they really want and like how they're going about that. And then after that, it's like, okay, we can put our foot on the gas and kind of go forward. And for you, it wasn't that your heart was ever in the wrong place. It wasn't that you were ever doing anything wrong with the way that you loved. It was just the fact that, you were giving that to anyone and everyone, instead of, I think, the people who actually deserved it and the people who actually reciprocated it. Um, and like that's been a lesson that's like a long time coming. I think, for both of you to like learn these lessons, but like you have, like we're at the point of like completion and celebration. We're at the point of honestly like a little bit of wish fulfillment because like four of Wands is the 1111 card because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 wands and it kind of looks like 1111 there. And I think that like it's like your guides are like, we always wanted to give this to you. This was always the point. We just needed for you to like learn how to like direct your energy in a productive way, in a way that was like healthy and balanced and sustainable. Um and I think like with this, what we have on the bottom with this like 7 of Pentacles and 6 of Cups, it's it feels like this almost like childhood dream coming to fulfillment on some level. Because I really do like in this like both 10 and 6 of Cups, because I was talking about this 10 of Cups as being like, this is what spirit wants to give you, this is what your guides are like, this is what you're meant for. It almost kind of reminds me of like, if you look at the 6 of Cups, like a very similar kind of imagery with the cups in the front and like the two figures, but like these ones are children. It's like this dream of something that you've had since you were a child. And, kind of going back to like the initial way that this energy came to me as like this very homey and cozy, like little kitchen with all the baked goods and the fresh plants and all of that. Like, I think that there is something here about that future, and I think about sharing that future with someone, whoever it is. If you like dreamed about sharing a future and a home with, a partner who is like loving and supportive, or maybe you were never that big on partnership and you just really wanted family surrounding you, or you wanted this friendship, but like, whatever it is, like Ace of Cups, like it's being offered to you now, not like maybe in its fullness, but like you very, very recently, I think, ended some of these like cycles of like learning, of growing, of all of this, all of this stuff that was like connected to this like whole Ten of Wands thing, like going through the whole cycle there. And you're kind of at the point where, I think you're feeling a little stuck and trapped, and your guides are telling you like it's time to celebrate. Like you reach that milestone. Um, because like the next step, it's this thing that you've waited for. It's this thing that you've waited for. Um, and I think being given to you in a way that is more fully embodied, more mature, more complete, more sustainable than you even really had the understanding of to even like imagine as a child. Um, because we had the Ten of Wands up there. Now we have the Ace of Wands. It's it's a new beginning. And it's a new beginning that is backed by the universe with the wheel. It's this new beginning that I think was like always like they're giving me like straight up written in your soul's contract. Like straight up the universe is coming to fulfill something that you are entitled to, as part of just who you are, as part of like the life that you are meant to live on this earth. This is part of it. This is part of it. And I don't usually say that with so much certainty and clarity, but like I said, like they really want you to know this. They really want you to know that, yeah, because the Fool and the Queen of Wands, there is a new beginning here. Um and I think that you are going to start to feel like the energy shifting first with that like Ace of Wands, as spirit and the universe kind of like sets things in motion. um and I think that like you're intuitive enough, because you're showing up here as the Queen of Wands. She's quite intuitive, quite connected to spirit. You're quite intuitive, and I think that you feel this, and you feel that because it's meant for you, and because like it's coming for you with that like new beginning with the Fool. um and with the Page of Swords over there, I think that there's a lot of like curiosity, a lot of like almost this like restless mind, like going back and forth, like, well, should I do this, or is it going to be like this, or is it, and like spirit's not like chiding you for that. They're not upset, but they are like telling you like it's gonna be good. You don't need to know everything right now, but like what I'm telling you here is hopefully enough to put the worried part of your mind at ease and allow the, I think, more like excited restless mind to kind of come out, like the part of you that's excited thinking about like, oh, what kind of cookies am I going to make? What kind of trips am I going to go on with this person? Like thinking about that instead of like thinking about like the things that could go wrong. Because like things will always go wrong. There's a certain inevitability to entropy, to chaos, to the universe. Things will go wrong, but things are not going to go wrong in a way that compromises your overall stability, your overall happiness, your overall dream. That's not going to happen anymore. That's not going to happen anymore. Um, yeah, strength. It's not going to happen because of who you are, because of who your guides are, because of the fact that there is this divine power, I think, that is at play here. Like I was saying, like this is something that is written in your soul's contract. This is something that you have fought for. This is something that your guides have fought for you to have, and it's something it's going to happen. There is an inevitability to it that is both intense and I think also a little comforting to feel. And it's funny when I talk about that, I'm getting like almost a little sweaty, a little warm, a little overheated. Like it is intense, but it's not a bad intense. It's a ferocious intensity, kind of like that lion there, but like there's nothing to fear because the angel in that figure has tamed the lion, is able to use that strength. um Last card, the Emperor. Like I said, this is divine authority. This is your authority. This is you claiming what is your birthright, which is, to kind of sit on whatever this throne is, which, I think in this case has a lot to do with, the environment that you're cultivating and the kind of people and relationships that surround you in that. Um, you are not meant to be someone who's treated poorly, who is put in a state of fear and lack. That's not your purpose. You're here to be the emperor. And there's the world. So that's all, folks, and good luck out there.